Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to the Den DBZ All-Star. I'm DBZ All-Star, or Steve if you prefer, and I want to present some of the more recent hauls from Ollie's Bargain Market. Ollie's, good stuff, cheap. Now, those of you who are international may not know what Ollie's is, but here in the United States, unfortunately not in every state and not in every major city, we have a discount / bargain related store known as Ollie's. They have a mascot named Ollie, who's a white-haired man with a mustache, and it just so happens that one of the sections in that store is a book section. Within that section, there is a subsection specifically for graphic novels. They have carried graphic novels in their stores for over a decade, with one of the boom periods, not the publisher, just a boom period, being between 2016 to 2018, when they had many selections for Marvel, DC, and independent. Things have slimmed down a little bit, but even here in the good old state of Texas, the Ollie's locations may have a decent amount of books. Sometimes it is bare bones and you cannot find what you see in other Ollie's locations, thanks to posters on Reddit and the Omnibuds Cafe, in the Nearmint Discord, and in other Ollie's related discussions. You may not be able to find everything you see at your specific location that you've seen online. You may not be able to find anything, but sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you are blessed to find people who are willing to help you out. So with that being said, I'll start showing off what I have purchased recently, and unfortunately by recently, I mean since last November. So there is no Ollie's in my city, but there are locations here in the state of Texas. So, starting off, we have Jane Foster, The Saga of Valkyrie, which is normally priced at $39.99. It is $9.99 if you locate it at Ollie's. It collects the Mighty Thor, the 2015 series, 702 to 706, Valkyrie, Jane Foster, issues 1 through 10, the 2019 series, and material from both Mighty Thor at the Gates of Valhalla and War of the Realms Omega, which that Omega starts off Jane Foster, spoiler, her time as Valkyrie. So grateful to have that, because I don't know if there's going to be a Valkyrie omnibus anytime soon. And there's definitely enough material, because following that 10-issue series, there were Mighty Valkyrie series. Next up, we have I believe this is the latest printing of the Mighty Thor Omnibus Volume 1, retailing for $100, discounted to $24.99 at Ollie's, collecting Journey into Mystery 83 through 120 and Annual Number 1. You will most likely, for Omnis, find the standard edition cover at Ollie's. I have yet to find a direct market cover, and these items were purchased in November at an Ollie's location. This is the Wakanda, World of the Black Panther Omnibus, Wakanda Forever, and this is the standard edition cover. Retails for $125, discounted to $34.99. Collecting Rise of the Black Panther 1 through 6, Black Panther World of Wakanda 1 through 6, Black Panther and the Crew 1 through 6, Black Panther Long Live the King 1 through 6, Black Panther the 2015 series Annual Number 1, Amazing Spider-Man Wakanda Forever, X-Men Wakanda Forever, Avengers Wakanda Forever, Black Panther vs. Deadpool 1 through 5, Shuri 1 through 10, Killmonger 1 through 5, Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda, severely underrated series, issues 1 through 8, canceled in the wake of the pandemic, King and Black Panther, and The Last Annihilation, Wakanda. plus material from Venomverse War Stories issue 1, Marvel Comics issue 1000 from 2019, Marvel Voices number 1, Marvel Voices Legacy from 2021, and Black Panther, the 2018 series, issues 23 through 25, which wrap up the Ta-Nehisi Coates era of Black Panther. This is a wonderful companion to the Black Panther by Ta-Nehisi Coates omnibus. It was released close to that omnibus. Just be aware, if you track this down, there's wonderful material in there, but the Black Panther World of Wakanda period in this omnibus has misprints, where certain pages from, I believe, issue 3 are printed in issue 2, and it causes readability issues. But if you're not so much worried about that, if you can read those on Marvel Unlimited, or you have the single issues, getting a $125 Omni for $34.99 is a fair trade for dealing with that. Next up, we have the digest size Strange Academy First Class, which collects issues 1 through 6. This was the first release for Strange Academy prior to the $75 Strange Academy First Class oversized hardcover that printed the first 6 issues in color and then black and white, and of course before the Omni. Retailed for $13.99. This was a $2.99 book. So if you're looking to just try out Strange Academy as a sampler, that's the way to go. We have the trade paperback version of History of the Marvel Universe, collecting 1 through 6, the complete series by Mark Waid, Javier Rodriguez, and Alvaro Lopez. $24.99 retail, $5.99 at Ollie's. Wonderful book. If you don't want to pay for the Treasury edition, this is a good route to go. Mark Waid is a wonderful historian for comics. We have the original printing of Beta Ray Bill by Donny Cates, the Argent Star trade paperback, collecting 1 through 5 of that series. $15.99 retail price, $3.99 at Ollie's. Beautiful, beautiful Daniel Warren Johnson story and artwork with Mike Spicer teaming up on the artwork as well. Donny Cates started off Beta Ray Bill's journey, which is why I said it's by Donny Cates, because he set the premise, but Daniel Warren Johnson made it his own. This has gone back to press/printing as of this year, 2025, but if you want to pick this up, $3.99 as opposed to $15.99 if you can track it down. We have the Marvel Treasury edition of the first volume of X-Men Grand Design by the late and great Ed Piskor. $29.99 retail and $6.99 at Ollie's. What this does is retell significant events from X-Men history in a newer style, and the Treasury editions, as you can see, are taller than even omnibus editions. They are the paperback style, oversized books. Well worth having in any collection. Also available in omnibus form, collecting the full trilogy of Grand Design. And finally, from November, we also have Black Panther: The Early Years omnibus, retailing for $125. Again, at Ollie's, $34.99, collecting the Fantastic Four, 52 and 53, 56 and 119, Tales of Suspense, 97 to 99, Captain America 100, The Avengers 52, 62, 73, 74, 77 through 79, 87, 112, 126, Daredevil 52, 69, and Annual 4, Astonishing Tales 6 and 7, Marvel Team Up 20, Jungle Action 6 through 24, and material from the Fantastic Four issue 54. This is the collection of T'Challa's earliest adventures and his first appearances in the Marvel Universe. Well worth having. It'll lead into a second omnibus detailing his early adventures to be released in 2026. I believe it was titled Black Panther: Fury of the Panther omnibus. I'm not sure if that's still the title. The Uncanny Omar and Airman Condition would know. So that's it for November 2024. moving on to my recent trip, which was last weekend. So today is the, let's see, this won't go up the same day, but today is the 19th. This would be September 13th, 2025. Stopped at two different Ollies here in Texas. And first up, we have She-Hulk by Peter David. Yes, I had another Peter David book if you've watched my previous videos. This collects his entire run on She-Hulk. $75 retail, $19.99 at Ollie's. Collecting She-Hulk, the 2005 series, 22 through 38. She-Hulk Cosmic Collision, X-Factor, the 2005 series. Also an excellent work by Peter David, 33 and 34, because there was a crossover. Sensational She-Hulk issue 12, and material from She-Hulk Sensational issue 1. Again, $75 retail at Ollie's, $20. Well worth having. Not as well renowned as the Dan Slott run on the title, but this concluded that particular ongoing series. Features Jen Walters still working within the law, but also taking the law into her own hands after a disaster occurs between Slott's run, that is, and this run, which is detailed later on in this run. We have X-Men Inferno, the Jonathan Hickman event, retailing for $39.99, $9.99 at Ollie's. This is an oversized hardcover. As you can see, collecting all 4 issues of the 2021 miniseries event Inferno, which was Jonathan Hickman's exit miniseries from the Age of Krakoa. I do have a copy of this already. I picked it up for a friend just in the event that they weren't able to locate it at their Ollie's. Maybe I'll do a giveaway at some point, because this is a stellar way to go out for Hickman. We have, for DC, Exit Stage Left, the Snagglepuss Chronicles. This collects the entire miniseries, so issues 1 through 6, plus the Suicide Squad Banana Splits Special number 1. $16.99 retail, $3.99 at Ollie's, detailing Snagglepuss going through a difficult process of being comfortable with himself, because he is gay in this miniseries, spoiler alert, and it details the pink fur red scare drama that goes on in this miniseries. Wonderfully written by Mark Russell, who wrote the acclaimed The Flintstones maxi series for DC around the same time, in partnership with the Hanna-Barbera and DC line. Well worth having. I can't speak well enough of this. We have The Excellent, Volume 1, New Blood, New World, detailing the return of the Ecstatics, as well as them battling the Excellent. Who are the Excellent? What ties do they have to Ecstatics when they were formerly X-Force? Read to find out. This collects giant-size Ecstatics and the later follow-up Excellent issues 1 through 5, which was relaunched later on with 5 more issues in Volume 2. This retails for $17.99, $3.99 at Ollie's. Is it as good as the original series? No, but for $3.99, why not? We have an Epic Collection. We have Avengers Epic Collection Volume 26, collecting from 1994 and 1995. Taking Aim, collecting Avengers 378 to 388, Marvel Double Feature, Avengers Giant Man 379 to 382, the Vision miniseries 1 through 4, and Captain America 440 through 441. Don't know a whole lot about the Bob Harris era outside of reading an issue or two. This was $44.99 retail, $9.99, but I'm getting more into Epic Collections for certain eras of certain characters and teams, and the Avengers is one of them, so I'm grateful to have this as part of my collection. We have X-Force Epic Collection, Volume 7, collecting 1997-1998, $44.99 retail, $9.99 at Ollie's, collecting X-Force 66 through 84, and the -1 issue, which is a flashback. X-Force, outside of Uncanny X-Force and probably Kyle and Yost, which were my first 2 X-Force series, not counting the Peter Milligan, which I feel is its own thing. Yeah, this is a great way to collect those early X-Force things and stories outside of getting the Omnis, but this is probably going to be mapped a little bit differently. Love some of these characters. This is set during the Zero Tolerance era, I believe. Yeah, because it's titled Zero Tolerance. So, looking forward to reading this. A controversial miniseries, but with $7.99 as opposed to the retail price of $34.99, we have Avengers X-Men Axis, concluding Rick Remender's Uncanny Avengers ongoing series before it was relaunched as, unfortunately, a 6-issue miniseries. Deals with the Avengers and X-Men teaming up to take on a Captain America villain who has used the talents of one of the deceased X-Men characters to basically try to take over the world and make it in his own desires and images. And something goes awry. Characters' personalities are flipped on their axis. Not the best event, but has some fun moments, great artwork throughout, and worth a read. I honestly enjoy Original Sin, which was the other 2014 crossover event from Marvel, more, but you can't lose out at $7.99. Something absolutely fantastic. Guardians of the Galaxy by Al Ewing. This is a complete collection, $49.99 retail, $12.99 at Ollie's, collecting all 18 issues of Guardians of the Galaxy, the 2020 series, Rocket issues 1 through 6, and material from the 2021 Guardians of the Galaxy annual issue 1. This follows up Donny Cates' run on Guardians of the Galaxy and precedes the rather controversial recent series. If you're looking for a story that respects the past and builds a different present and potentially could have built a better future for the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, Al Ewing is a continuity nerd, geek. I love it. This is one of my favorite runs of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Would have loved to have seen this put in an omnibus, but I will take a complete collection style release. Well worth having. Next up, a book that helped me decide whether or not I was going to continue with this series of Omnis, because I held off on this volume for so long. I don't love New Warriors, it just wasn't top priority given all the Spider-Man books out there. But this is New Warriors Omnibus Volume 2, retailing for $125. We have it at $34.99 for Ollie's. So I'm going to have to pick up Volume 3 and the solo character omnibus for Nova and Night Thrasher soon. This collects New Warriors, the original 1990 series, 27 through 53, and annuals 3 and 4, Night Thrasher, 4 Control, the number 4, 1 through 4, X-Force 1991, the original series 32 and 33, Night Thrasher 11 and 12, Nova the 1994 series 6 and 7, New Warriors Ashcan Edition, and material from Night Thrasher issue 1. Marvel Comics presents the 1988 series 122 and 159 through 163, a Marvel Holiday Special issue 2, written primarily by Fabian Nicieza, wonderful artwork by Derek Robinson. I have read the majority of this material. I just kind of held off and was concerned that if this goes out of print, or I can't find it, what's the point in getting Volume 3? But at this point, I will see what happens with Volume 3, because for better or for worse, it ties the New Warriors to the Spider-Man line and has a Spider-Man cast member join the team. So these were all purchased at one of the Ollie's locations, and this next smaller pile was at a secondary location. We have The Amazing Spider-Man Marvel Masterworks. This is, I'm pretty sure, from the Remasterworks line, Volume 1. This is a $75 book retailing for $19.99. The Amazing Spider-Man numbers 1 through 10, and Amazing Fantasy 15, fully restored, fully collected in here. Now, the point of the Remasterworks program was to potentially do yet another remaster, put these comics in the best possible condition, as well as give fans an opportunity to collect the Masterworks line from the beginning. I don't believe it worked in full because this wound up at Ollie's, and unfortunately, as of 2026, the Masterworks line is at the very least going on a hiatus. It's a shame. I don't own many Masterworks because of the price point, but I see the immense value they have. One of my former employers had every single Marvel Masterwork from the beginning of the original line. So this serves an incredible purpose because without these, the Epic collections that use the scans and the Omnis that use the scans would not have those stellar pieces of work presented in their best possible quality. So I am sad to see the line go. Grateful to have a Masterwork, or again, I'm pretty sure this is a remasterwork. Well worth having, especially for that cost. Next up, another controversial one. Talked about this recently in the Nearman Discord with a fellow reader. This is the Ultimates Omnibus by Mark Millar and Brian Hitch. I believe this is the third printing because we had a printing in the early aughts, or 2010. No, the late aughts or early 2010s. We had another printing in, I think, 2020 or 2021, and then we had another one in 2023. So this retails for $100, is $24.99, collects the Ultimates issues 1 through 13, Ultimates 2 issue 1 through 13, Ultimates Annual issue 1, Ultimates 2 issue 1, the Variant Sketch Edition. Beautiful artwork by Brian Hitch all throughout. This is Mark Millar, unfortunately, in his slight edgelord persona. So if you're not into controversial comments or comics, this might not be for you. But I respect its place in history, not only for trying something different, but because it helped with casting for the MCU and inspired some of the plot points in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Without this, would we have had Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury? Who knows, but that's a joke in this book, and it came true. It has one of my favorite lines, which people disagree with, in here. It's my favorite because it's kind of ironic given given the state of the world, and you can take it or leave it. You don't have to agree with me, but overall, I think it's worth adding to any collection just for Brian Hitch's artwork. You're definitely not going to see the same style of storytelling or the same personalities for Avengers characters in this that you do in the Prime universe or in the current Ultimate universe. And quite frankly, that might be a good thing. Last but certainly not least, we have a gallery edition, which is an oversized hardcover version of the Treasury edition, basically. This retails for $44.99, was $9.99. This is Spider-Man, the Wedding Album. It is beautiful. Collects Amazing Spider-Man, the original series, 1963, 290 through 292. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1964 is when that kicked off. Issue 21, Spectacular Spider-Man, the original series, Annual Issue 7. What If the 1989 series, 20 and 21. Marvel Saga, The Official History of the Marvel Universe, 22. And material from that brand, Issue 6. Well worth having if you are fans of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. It presents what happens when Mary Jane comes back into Peter's life after an absence, and when he pops the big question, which was not the first time. It was kind of meant to bring things in line with the Spider-Man newspaper strips that were being published at the time. It was a controversial move in the comics, but not as controversial as when this marriage was undone. It also presents some what-if scenarios as to what would have happened back then if Peter and Mary Jane hadn't got married and if Peter married someone else. Overall, I'd say the material is A+ in this book. So that is all I have for my Ollie's hauls for recent history for the November 2024 and for September 2025. There are other books out there that have not been cited at any of the Ollies nearby. They're not like close. So, but check your Ollies. Support your Ollies. They really are a great company, not only to frequent as a customer, but during my education, I was able to have a professor in human resources management that had worked for Ollie's for a number of years before becoming a teacher. She had nothing but great things to say about it. I've talked to employees there. Support your local Ollie's if you have one, or if you want to check one out, drive to where there is one available in the U.S., of course. I'm not expecting people to take their cars under the ocean from international, obviously. But in the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, Ollie's, good stuff, cheap, and be well.